it is 6:31, so we can go ahead and start. So I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31 PM. Do you want to take a roll call?
You don't have to, it's
We
okay.
don't have to? All right. Quorum has been established. There's 5 of us. Consideration of meeting minutes from last month. Do I have any amendments, changes? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I so move to approve the minutes of last month.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Amos. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next on the agenda is public comment of items not on the agenda. We have no public, so I will assume we're not going to have any comments. So let's move on to 4. Review and consider recommendation to City Council on approval of the substantial amendment to City Steps 2030, which includes the fiscal year 26 annual action plan.
So to give you a quick refresher, the 5-year plan sets our goals and strategies for what we're gonna do in this period, and the annual action plan says what activities we're gonna undertake. City Steps was approved in January. The 1-year annual action plan, the year 1 annual action plan is a little bit unique in that it's technically a part of the city's 5-year plan. In years 2 through 5, you'll see this come to the commission as a separate document. So this is technically called an amendment to City Steps, but it's our normal annual action plan that you guys see every year. This is programming our HUD funds into the specific activities that we'll do in FY26. The amendment to the plan includes updates to the document to be consistent with final award amounts. It incorporates the annual action plan, and it ensures consistency with a lot of rapidly changing regulations. To give you an example of one thing that has changed, HUD has essentially retracted the affirmatively furthering fair housing requirement to do an analysis of impediments. So we had a whole separate plan that we were working on that was incorporated into this plan. That's no longer a requirement, so we've deleted some of that language just to be consistent with some of the new regulations that are coming out. The structure of these plans are very prescribed by HUD. Typically, the commission's most interested in the specific projects that we're gonna undertake. The dollars in this plan will fund our different city programs, so that'll be homeowner rehab, a new pilot rental rehab program, the city's down payment assistance program, and tenant-based rental assistance. It will also support local nonprofit agencies through a portion of that going to aid to agencies. Community housing development organizations, that's a special nonprofit that can undertake housing activities. We're required to set a percentage of our home funds aside to do those housing activities. And then we'll also do a competitive funding round. Typically, the competitive projects would come to you first, and then we would approve the annual action plan, but we're doing things kind of opposite this year since the funding allocations came out from HUD so late. So this is a little bit inverse, but you'll see that funding round coming soon. Let's see, no public comments to date on this plan. We're requesting the HCDC recommend approval of this amendment to City Council. City Council will hold a public meeting on July 8th where they will accept public comments and consider approval of the amendment. And then if this amendment is approved, we would submit this whole document to HUD. So the consolidated plan, the annual action plan is all submitted as one document. Questions?
Okay, it's all one document, but it's not separated out by the specific titles that it has been?
Correct. For this, they call it a year 1. So for a 5-year period, this is our year 1 of the 5-year period. It'll be FY26 through FY30. So for this instance, it will be all submitted together. When you see the FY27 annual action plan next year, it will be a separate document. It won't be an amendment to City Steps.
Okay, thank you.
Brianna, do you know how much is going to be available for the competitive round?
I do. Let me scroll to this. So this is kind of a brief summary. This isn't a HUD requirement. We put this in just for the public. It's a little easier to review than the HUD structured plan. So for the competitive round, remember through the City Steps plan, we've really parsed down the types of activities that we will be funding. So for competitive rental acquisition, there will be about $214,000. And then for public facility projects, there will be $150,000.
And we're targeting that $214,000 for one project?
That's a good question. So the target beneficiaries there, it says one rental unit and it also says one public facilities. If we exceed that amount, like if you get 2 public facility projects and you want to fund both at half of those, we could certainly do that. It's okay to exceed it. We just want to set a reasonable goal for ourselves.
Okay. And do we have a copy of this?
It's in the appendix of the plan. If you want a hard copy of this, I can send it to you. A little
I-
bit more concise than the rest of the document.
If I could,
Sure.
thank you.
What is the definition of affordable housing under the affordable housing section?
It depends on what type of activity you're funding. So if it's a home activity and it is, let's say, our down payment assistance program, you can be up to 80% of area median income, but then we have specific underwriting requirements. Like your payment, PMI insurance can only be 30% of your gross income. So it sort of varies by project. If it was a rental project, we also restrict the amount of rent that the landlord can charge to the tenant.
But based on, okay.
So for home, it would be HUD sets the maximum rents for the area, and then there's a utility allowance. So you take the maximum rent minus the utility allowance, and that's the rent that they can charge to the tenant. The maximum, I should say, they can always charge less.
And then for home funds for rental, isn't there different income levels based on the number of units? So it's,
Yep, you have to maintain a unit mix. For the most part, we would say under 60%.
yeah, basically.
Under 60% would be for,
Like if you are renting a home, let's say you're a property manager, you're renting a home assisted unit, when you're reviewing the applicants, you would want to make sure that the tenant is under 60% of the area median income.
Okay.
And that's the limit that HUD sets for us. Sometimes people think that the city sets those limits, but it's actually set by HUD.
Can the
Okay,
city
thank you.
set more restrictive limits?
Not for this specific,
Okay.
we have to follow the federal guidelines for these 2 programs.
Got it.
But people can always, a lot of times we see, I mean, the AMI limit might be 60%, but a lot of times people are renting to tenants well under that.
Yeah.
And the next step of this, we would send our recommendation, council would,
So if you recommend approval, it will go to city council on July 8th. We'll continue to accept public comments until then, and if anyone wanted to submit a public comment at the meeting, city council will hear comments at that point too. Once the plan's approved, we'll submit it to HUD.
does anybody else have any comments or thoughts on the substantial amendment to City Steps 2030? Not 3030, 2030? Amos, anything?
Not at the moment.
Fish? Mary Ann?
No.
Okay. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the substantial amendment as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there you go. Next is review and consider recommendation to city council on approval of the substantial amendment to the citizen participation plan. And Brianna is up again.
All right, so this next document is called our Citizen Participation Plan. That is the legal name of this plan. There's a note on the cover. Obviously, we want to hear input from anybody regardless of citizenship status. Just wanted to clarify that. This is a plan that guides our public input for all of our federally required plans. So this tells us when we're bringing things to HCDC. This tells us how long our public comment period should be. This is a HUD requirement that guides how we kind of operate and gain input for those other planning documents. Again, this is called an amendment, a substantial amendment to the plan. Not many things have changed in this. To give you a summary, we're modernizing the methods of input. We try to do this every 5 years, do a general update to this plan. Obviously, a lot has changed since 2020 when we last did this. We're ensuring consistency with current regulations. We're adding provisions for disasters and emergencies. We're increasing the clarity and the input for the approval process for each plan and any associated amendments. The process is generally the same, but this new document is breaking out each plan instead of grouping everything together like our previous plan. It also makes clear that we will attempt input from HCDC, but we as staff need to be able to proceed if we had a commission meeting that was canceled and we had a HUD deadline, we need to be able to still proceed to submit that to HUD. So we'll always attempt to bring you the documents for input, but just allowing us to make sure we hit those submission deadlines if something were to be canceled. Any questions about this plan?
I just have one. Did you say that citizens can come to the city council meeting and present questions or thoughts? Is there also an additional mechanism for them to get those to the council?
Yeah, that's a good question. So to give you an example of like our substantial amendment for the last amendment that you just approved, we start a public comment period. We'll announce it in the Press Citizen and online, and we'll do a 30-day public comment period so people can submit comments in writing to staff. You could submit comments to the clerk's office. You can come to this meeting and make a public comment. You can come to city council and make your public comment. There's several different ways that you can have your input incorporated. We would accept like a mailed letter as well.
We're even mentioned on page 7.
Pardon me?
We're even mentioned on page 7.
Of what?
As a way to communicate.
Oh.
That they can come talk with us. Makes me feel special.
We really do rely on HCDC for public comment on these documents, so we appreciate your taking the time to read all these things. I know it's a lot.
Okay, and Mr. Chair, can you just direct my eyes to the exact paragraph where
Oh.
we are mentioned?
I gotta go back up to 7.
It's under B.
Gotcha, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Brianna.
You're welcome. This is the
Oh, this
paragraph
is-
as well where I was saying if the meeting was canceled for any reason, it would proceed to city council. But similar to how we've done in the past, if the meeting was canceled, commissioners could still put their input in writing, or you could make a public comment at the meeting as well.
Okay, thank you.
Question, is there a restriction on the place where this public meeting would be conducted?
That's a good question. Obviously, we try to do most of our meetings at City Hall, but when we did our public input process for City Steps, that does have specific requirements on where we can hold our meetings. At least one of the meetings needs to be in a neighborhood of Iowa City that is more than 50% low to moderate income residents. So we try to hold meetings in different spots at different times to try to get as much feedback as possible. The 5-year plan is a heavy lift. We're getting a lot of community input for that one. So normally for this, most of our meetings would be held here at City Hall, but when we're doing that kind of boots on the ground outreach for our 5-year plan, that one does have some specific requirements on where.
Is there usually some communication with the community organizations in form of writing to their leaders?
Yeah, during that public input process, we really rely on our nonprofit community. They were super helpful in like distributing flyers, getting people to do the survey. When we are doing our public meetings, we partner with the neighborhood centers of Johnson County. So they're very familiar with the area. They're able to kind of get the word out about the input we're trying to do. So we really do rely on community partners to help us with those input sessions.
What is the requirements on a minor versus a substantial amendment? A minor amendment means there doesn't need to be any public input, but in a substantial amendment situation, there would be a requirement for public input. I know we do a lot of the minor ones where CDBG home funds can get applied to something else or a program gets canceled. And I know we don't have to have a whole series of public input for that.
Right.
What makes, like, when something becomes a substantial amendment, what is that process? Is it like one or two public meetings? Or do you have to go through the whole public comment process all over again, or?
It can be a lot. So a substantial amendment is, takes a little bit more time, so that's not something that would happen quickly here. There's a list of things in this
I saw that,
plan that
yeah.
says, yeah, what is substantial and what is administrative. If we have an administrative change that we felt like, oh, we really need some public input on this, we still have the ability to bring that forward to a public meeting or to HCDC if it's something that we feel maybe isn't a substantial amendment, but we feel that it would be in the best interest of the community to proceed with that process. The amendment process is less intense than developing the 5-year plan, but it still takes a meeting of HCDC and then taking it to city council to get a substantial amendment approved.
Anybody have any other thoughts, input on
Citizen participation plan.
the citizen participation plan amendment? All right, if not, I would once again entertain a motion to approve this to send on.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you much. Next is staff and commission updates. Any brief updates from staff?
Yes, I have a couple here. A couple things in your packet. Sam, our grant specialist, prepared, at a previous meeting, someone had asked about aid to agencies, about, we get a lot of data, but someone had asked as well about kind of the narrative type stories. So Sam prepared a memo with more of the storytelling element, just to show you what some of the agencies have been up to. We also included our Neighborhood and Development Services 2024 report. And then I also wanted to mention that the non-legacy aid to agencies application opened today. That will be due July 16th. So you'll be seeing the non-legacy application round before the CDBG competitive round. So just keep that on your radar. I'll stay in touch via email once we have those available for your review.
Tell Sam thanks.
Yeah,
I will, yeah.
that was
But
helpful.
if there's any way we can increase the font size on future.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was going to ask
Even I had to
that.
zoom it up to 200%, so.
Yeah, I could not do that on the computer,
You can
and
zoom it
even
up.
with my bifocals, this is difficult for me.
I will
But I
pass
thought
that
it was really
along.
good. The little snippets of stuff were very informative, so.
I zoomed it up.
If I can't see the whole sentence at the same time, then I get confused, so that doesn't work for me.
So were the comments, the testimonies edited in any way, or that is verbatim as they came from to you?
I don't believe they were edited. I believe that's taken, we use a software, it's called EC Impact through United Way, and grantees will report their information in there, and I believe Sam extracted that for you.
Good.
Anything from commissioners? Any updates or?
I don't have any updates, but I have a question. Is that permissible?
As long as we don't discuss it,
Yeah.
you can ask it.
Okay, I'm just wondering, we have a couple of commissioners whose terms expire at the end of this month, and I haven't looked at city council meetings to see if there's been anything done on that. So that was just something that I've been thinking about.
On the city council agenda for tomorrow, they're scheduled to appoint some new commissioners.
Okay, thank you.
And they did pass the amendment, so the commission is now a 7-person commission instead of 9. I did hand out a copy of the new bylaw, so our quorum is now 4.
So there will be just one new appointment?
I believe there's another item on the agenda that's talking about, it's a recommendation from the city attorney's office on how to stagger the terms. If you remember when Sue
Okay,
Dulick
yes,
was here.
yes.
I believe they're appointing 3 people.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
But yes, Mary Ann's term and Horacio's term has ended. Horacio, I don't think you reapplied, so thank you for your service to the
Oh, yeah,
commission.
thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, my goodness, thank you.
Never too late to reapply.
I didn't get to know you, but thank you. And perhaps we'll see you again next month.
We'll see.
Marianne, are you finishing your 2 terms?
I did reapply. So, we'll see.
Our fingers are crossed.
We'll see.
I mean, I don't want to have to stage a walkout, but I will.
A peaceful protest?
Peaceful protest. Anything else from
I
anybody?
have a commissioner update as well, if
Yeah, George.
everybody can hear me.
Yep.
I've been offered a career opportunity in the city of Chicago, and unfortunately, my permanent residence in Iowa City will be expiring August 1st, so I will be forced to resign from the committee as well. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the city staff and the entire commission. It's been an honor working next to you guys, and my time was limited on HCDC, but I genuinely felt that I learned a lot, and we were able to make our committee a little more efficient, and I'm happy with the direction that we moved in my time here. So again, thank you everybody, and I may not be seeing you after July.
Well, we still got you. We'll still get you next month.
Well, and George, it's been a pleasure to serve with you, and hopefully when you get to Chicago, you can come and be involved in their local politics also.
That's what I was thinking as well, Marianne. Thank you
Good.
very much.
Good.
Yes, it's been great, George, and I guess we'll probably see you next month.
I hope I can stay up to date on everything you guys are working on. I would love to hear anything, that you guys would want to share with me. And again, as Marianne said, I'll be looking for opportunities in Chicago to involve myself with housing development and city government. And it's all been inspired by my work with you guys. So thank you again.
Right.
Well, congratulations on the move. So hopefully it's good for you.
On the off chance that
Thank you,
Mary
sir.
Ann is not reappointed, I feel like I also have to say, in addition to thank you to Horacio and thank you to George for your service, I do want to say thank you to Mary Ann as well. I hope we see you again in July and that you're reappointed, but your contributions are very appreciated.
Thanks.
What have you heard now? You have me worried.
It's up to council.
I echo that, Mary Ann.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I also want to thank the staff, especially Brianna. She has been amazing from the beginning, training me in the commission, all the staff, and you. And I want to also thank the City Council for giving me the opportunity to serve my community, my new community. And I wish and I hope that I don't know if there was another Latino member in this commission, but I hope this, if not, this will open the doors for other representation or our representation from the Latino community, because I think it's important that we have a representation, not just in this commission, but in all the commission from the city. So I really appreciate the time here. I hope I can serve somewhere in another time, and you have my contact, so if I can be helpful in some way, you can reach me out. For sure, I'll be here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also just wanted to thank you, George. I've only known you here for maybe a month or two, and it has been very encouraging as a young person. I'm sorry to say that you may not think yourself you're young, but considering what you told me, being a student at the university and getting involved in issues like this is very encouraging, a good role model for students, especially those doing economics who want to look into the practical issues of problems people are facing out here. So I really got excited when I learned that you were a student, and that was very, very important, touched me. And I know there are things me and you discussed about issues of data and other things, and I will continue to communicate with you if you know somebody here or if you can work on something that could help the commission in some way. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Amos. I 100% agree. Our conversations are not something that I will forget. And I will reach out to Brianna and see if I can get your email so that perhaps we can stay in contact in the future. I really felt like you and I were on the same page about a lot of the data advancements and organization and that kind of stuff. So, again, I appreciate you.
All right. Well, that is it. And if anybody doesn't have anything else, I would sure entertain a motion to adjourn.
I have one quick question. Do we sometimes,
Motion on the table.
sorry, in July, sometimes we take a summer break. Do you want to take a summer break or do you prefer to hold a meeting in July?
When would it be?
It would be,
Well, because I already closed my.
July 21st.
I'm okay on the 21st.
I'm fine with the meeting.
Oh, actually, something that was discussed, you and I discussed at the last meeting that, I'll just throw it out there and we won't need to discuss it, but I don't know, maybe it's okay to discuss this, but
I can add it to the next agenda if it's something people are interested in.
yeah, we talked about the fact that there's this weird gap. I mean, especially city staff, myself for work, where like I'm done at 5 and then I have this weird hour and a half to kind of wait to HCDC. Like, would a 5:30 meeting start be difficult for people? Or would it make sense to, well, A, to get staff out and not have to hang around and work for an hour and a half doing nothing, but, I mean, for those of
I'm
us.
happy to
that-
hang around for the record.
Well, I know, but still,
the record
just to
reflect.
be respectful, and also, I mean, even for myself, I mean, I get done at 5 at the office, and then I mean, obviously, there's always work to do, but it's not enough time to really go home, get comfortable, eat dinner, come back. So I'm just wondering if 5:30 would work for people.
That would work for me. How much advance notice do you need to give to the public that the meeting times are changing?
I think what
be
we would,
changing.
I think what we would do is put it on the next agenda for discussion and we would have you vote on it, just so it's
Okay.
publicly out there. The next meeting would be at 6:30 still.
Okay,
But if everybody just said, no, that's crazy, then we wouldn't put it on the
Yeah.
agenda, but if, yeah. Okay, let's talk about it next time, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Bree?
Now I'm done.
Okay.
I move
There we go. A second?
adjournment.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All righty, thanks, everyone.